It's a good thing that there are no such things as souls, since having to continue to exist forever after you die would be a complete drag. There's only so much of this living bullshit you can take. Still, some descriptions of afterlives are a lot more desirable than others. The usual heaven-hell dualism of the monotheisms are a load of utter claptrap, of course, because not only does hell just sound like another shift at work, heaven just sounds drearily boring, what with all that bliss and happiness and praising God and too much light and all the rest of it. C.S. Lewis managed to get a more approachable version of heaven in his The Great Divorce, but made it a difficult place to actually get to. There's always some catch to these heavens. You don't just go there, you have to be eligible, like applying for a private club or something. Hell, you can just get to easily, but it's so crap you wouldn't want to. Two of my favourite afterlives, though, are a lot older than the dualisms. One of them comes from the oldest of the monotheisms, and its descriptions, few as they are extant, show just how much that religion has changed over the millennia. Originally, ancient Judaism had a concept of Sheol, a word that translates into English as grave. That's probably why there's a bit of disagreement as to whether the description is of a grave or an afterlife, and it's possible the word meant both depending on context. Anyway, as an afterlife, it sounds pretty good, because for one thing, everyone goes there, no matter who or what they were in life and no matter what they did or didn't do. So all that good deed, bad deed bullshit becomes irrelevant, at least as far as what got you there when you died was concerned. You went to Sheol anyway, existential cosmic egalitarianism. And it seems that things like deeds, intentions, consequences and all that didn't mean anything in Sheol, because apparently nothing happened anyway. The individual soul became like all the others there, and very much like the place itself. Grey, dark, quiet, still, nothing happening. Even memory becomes nothing. You forget who you were, who your family and community were, what the world was, everything. Apparently you even forgot about God, and this whole thing was his idea, presumably, since he was meant to have made the place along with everything else. This would have been eternity for the ancient Hebrews then, a place of twilight without colour, sound, memory, sensation, an existence, but on the merest level, an existence completely without any sensation and cognition. Maybe you weren't even conscious as such, but in a state of sleep without dream, but still somehow with enough sense of self to at least be aware of it. Or would you have? It's difficult to really know, and since it's all made up, it wouldn't have mattered. Presumably, the Hebrews didn't fancy the idea much after a while, because then they started making up hell and heaven, promptly ruining the fun. Another nice sounding afterlife is a very similar one, the concept of the ancient Greek Hades. The description is pretty much similar. Everyone goes there, everyone forgets their lives, everyone becomes a mere shade, nothing happens. There's a bit of a description of dust being the only thing to eat, and how the ancient Greeks liked to pour water and other liquids on the graves of their ancestors to give them a bit of a drink, but other than that, much the same as the Hebrew Sheol, in that it's pretty much a big eternal blank. One description has nearly dead shades being obliged to drink the waters from the river Lethe, which is what terminates the memories of their lives. Of course, like the ancient Hebrews, the ancient Greeks got a bit bored with that one as well and introduced ideas like Elysium, where all the good guys go, and Tartarus, where all the bad guys go, although apparently hanging on to Hades as some kind of standard issue general admittance afterlife for those who were just pretty mediocre. Both of these afterlives have the same appeal of a state of existence that is barely existence but is not non-existence, a state, it might be, of the barest sensation of being. One can imagine a state of numbness, a regression to the means of sensation and consciousness, everything at a bland, constant level with no expectation or interruption. The mind would be in a constant state of blank numbness, vision reduced to a bare minimum and with little cognition to discern any pattern, depth, light, perspective, an endless nothing much. Neither one thing nor the other, but just thingness at its most minimal and least consequential. Sensation on the most basic, blandest level. Touch, hearing, sight, taste and smell, all at the lowest level of operation without actually ceasing, registering the lowest level of informational input, the mind at the lowest level of cognitive performance, everything just on the lowest level of existence without any circumstances to shift the level higher into actual experience or lower into actual nothing at all. No desires, no cravings, but no ennui or discomfort. Souls all lying in their own respective beds next to each other without even being aware of each other in row after endless row, or floating in some indefinable space or substance that's endless in every direction. This forever.